What's going on? Welcome back. Yesterday, we got word of our 2018 All-Star reserves for both the East and the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference, of course, Victor Oladipo got his first All-Star appearance. Shout out Victor Oladipo. He deserved it. Also Kyle Lowry, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Kevin Love, John Wall, and Bradley Beal were the remainder of the Eastern Conference All-Star reserves. And for the West, Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, LaMarcus Aldridge, Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, obviously, it's a big deal to be inducted, I guess, into this All-Star game, to add another All-Star appearance to your resume, signifying your stardom, and definitely something that people look back on when, you're taking a look at somebody's legacy. The All-Star appearances are big. If you can get 5, 10, 15 All-Star appearances to add to your legacy, it makes all the difference. Now, unfortunately, like it is every year, when these guys are announced, their spots, it's never about, like, all the talk, all anyone's saying on social media is never about who made it. It's about who didn't make it. And maybe it's about who made it in terms of, like, who shouldn't have made it, who's questionable to be there. But most of the attention is on the All-Star snub. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We had people all over social media complaining about this, not just fans, but the players themselves. I mean, Lou Williams, Andre Drummond, Devin Booker, guys like this, just, saying something to react to themselves getting snubbed. And those snubs, I mean, there were a ton of them, or guys who you could say were on the bubble of making it, should have been considered. I'm talking Chris Paul, Paul George, Devin Booker for the Western Conference, and then for the East, Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic were players from the Eastern Conference that didn't make it either. Also, I forgot to say Lou Williams and Ben Simmons were other guys that were on the bubble that didn't get selected. Now, the first thing I want to say about the snubs for this All-Star game is actually about the way the All-Star game is set up. It's the coaches around the league that decide on the 7 reserves from each conference to make it into this game. But in this case, we have a different type of selection process than we've ever had in terms of who's going to be on which team. It's going to be 2 captains, LeBron and Curry. They're going to pick their teams. So to me, it really doesn't make any sense why you're separating these guys into conferences if the game itself has nothing to do with conferences. Of course, if you're going to play an All-Star game, you have East versus West. Obviously, you're going to have equal players from each conference, and you're going to pick your starters, and people are going to get picked from their respective conferences. But in this case, the game doesn't even have to do with the conferences, right? So why would it matter that, we need exactly 12 from each conference if nothing about the game requires you to have equal players from each conference or even has to do with conferences in general? It's just a thing. I know people would still get snubbed in this case if this were to happen, but we know that the Western Conference, it's more stacked. It's got more star talent than the Eastern Conference. If Paul George was playing in the Eastern Conference, there's absolutely no doubt that he would make it into this game. No question about it. And John Wall wouldn't be making it into this game if he was in the Western Conference. He just wouldn't. There's absolutely no chance. So in certain places, one conference has an edge over the other. Now, that's the first thing I want to say, because I think that does have an impact on it. The Western Conference clearly has more all-star caliber players than the Eastern Conference, and that might have had an effect on something. Although there were snubs from the East. I don't know if I'm on board with all these all-star snubs. I'm kind of iffy on John Wall making the all-star game in general. I think the Miami Heat deserved to have at least one all-star, and I don't think John Wall really deserved the nod over Goran Dragic, but I don't know. I mean, that one's kind of questionable. I'm not mad that John Wall makes it over Dragic. I think Dragic is a very underappreciated player. He's not a guy that enough people are talking about as an all-star snub. He's not the guy putting up 40 every night, but he is the guy leading a team that's playing very well in a team that we didn't expect to be as good as they are, and he has been great as that leader. Yet John Wall, who is a star player but on an underachieving team, he's more of a household name and he's more of a star. So in terms of his personality and his game, so we give him the nod. I'm not sure about that. I don't get how you can have John Wall in the game over Dragic if you're going to have Kyle Lowry and Al Horford. No doubt Kyle Lowry and Al Horford deserve to play in the game, but picking John Wall over Goran Dragic, I think that suggests that we are favoring star talent and star type of personalities and players over guys that are just getting it done and not necessarily filling the stat sheet in terms of points, but they are contributing and have a huge positive effect on their team. Al Horford, for example, he's averaging 13 points and 7 rebounds. Some people look at that and say, why is he there? Well, he's a defensive player of the year candidate. He is one of the biggest positive factors for his team and for a team in the conference, and he leads his team in assists, and he plays on the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. And the reason they are number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, he is a large contributor to that. That is why he's in the game, not because he averages 13 and 7. It's because of everything that he does outside of these immediate statistics, the things that make him such a threat to other teams, the things that make him so valuable to his team. Kyle Lowry, it's the same thing. He's having a down year when you look at the statistics, but the guy has had a huge impact on his team's success, and the Raptors are a team that they're very under the radar this year, and he is a big reason why they're so good. So I think the NBA, they gotta make a decision. They gotta say, look, what are we doing? Are we gonna reward these players that have the positive impact on their team, or are we just gonna give it to the stars? I mean, there's reason to pick these guys with the star personalities and the flashy guys, because think about it. Who would you rather see? Who would you rather want to see play? A lot of people watching this game, the All-Star game, casual fans might tune in, and casual fans might rather see, a guy like John Wall than a guy like Kyle Lowry, a guy like Lou Williams than a guy like Draymond Green, even though they're different positions, but you get what I'm saying. Some people just want to see the guys that can make deep shots and do flashy plays, but the All-Star game is taken seriously by the league and the players in it. The players who play the best believe they deserve it, and playing the best doesn't just mean being the flashiest, doesn't just mean putting on a show, it means contributing to your team's success. So there's kind of a disconnect between what the fans want and what the players want. Overall, I think you gotta reward a player and how good he is playing, not, who can put on a show, you know what I'm saying? So I think they gotta make a decision there. And I might just say that I don't think John Wall should be there over Goran Dragic just because of how Goran Dragic has played this season. You got to give him one. He's never been an all-star. Now, when it comes to the other snubs, I think that's the only snub from the Eastern Conference. I know Andre Drummond was on the bubble, but I'm not sure I can give him the edge over Al Horford this year. The Pistons have taken a tumble, and I don't know. I mean, he's having a good year. You can't argue that, but Al Horford's having one of the best seasons of his career, and it's very under the radar because he doesn't have eye-popping numbers. For the Western Conference, I think Paul George not making the All-Star team, it sucks, but I'm really not sure who you replace him with. The Warriors have 4 All-Stars, and that's 1/3 of the Western Conference spots. Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, people are arguing they shouldn't be there. Paul George should be there instead. Lou Williams should be there over Damian Lillard, or maybe CP3 should be there instead, but I don't know. I really don't think I can argue that. It's really hard to say for me, but I think it comes down to the fact that the West just has more all-star talent than the East, and that's why this system where you still split it evenly between conferences is detrimental to the all-star game. You get guys in the West that are clearly better than some guys on the East team, like CP3 and Paul George. They should be there instead of, John Wall and, I don't know, someone else from the Eastern Conference maybe. Here's the thing. The All-Star game, it's never perfect. We always have our complaints. It's subjective. People are always going to think something, but, the NBA can do as best they can. I don't think they made a glaring, awful decision anywhere here. I think this is actually a pretty good group, but yeah, I think they they aren't perfect here, but I'm not about to complain about this. I think it's fine. It's a hard job to pick these players. I know there's a lot of complaints, but I'm not really seeing all that much bad about this. Let me know what you guys think down below. Who do you think got snubbed? Who do you think's there that shouldn't be? Let me know what you think. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and hit me up on Twitter. You want to talk basketball, you want to talk the All-Star game, rosters, I'm there. And yeah, I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.